Alright, hi everybody. I'm going to be doing the introduction tonight. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what blockchain is and the purpose of blockchain and how it's evolved from Bitcoin all the way up to where it is right now. So I've been following blockchain since, I don't know, for the past 3-4 years now. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert, but I'm definitely a huge enthusiast, and I love learning about it. And I love the fact that the underlying purpose behind it is to protect our life, liberty, and property, and to do it in a way that's trustless, that doesn't require the need for any human trust. And this is what blockchain essentially is: software that can give us that through these consensus algorithms. So it all started with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin started off with a proof of work algorithm, and basically is miners producing blocks and they validate it. And over time, also Ethereum came out as well too. But over time, we found out that Bitcoin was the only thing Bitcoin could be used for. Really, is peer-to-peer digital currency transactions, and that's it. Because the speeds can't get any more faster than like double digits. Actually, I don't even think it can get to double digits. But Ethereum came along and wanted to change up the game and use a different kind of consensus algorithm, and it's called proof of stake. Basically, it would choose random people who would validate all the transactions and nodes to reach consensus onto the blockchain. And the reason why, but the main outcome out of all this was faster speeds. It gave us the ability to, and then with the Ethereum Foundation, we found out that there were ways to create dApps, and there were ways to create smart contracts, which is like more advanced than just peer-to-peer currency transactions. And that's essentially the second generation. But we kept running into problems such as throughput speeds, like a simple game of CryptoKitties launched on an enterprise, an enterprise application can slow things down and
it took the whole blockchain down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where it comes down. So that's the problem that we're at right now: scalability. So scalability is bringing this technology at a wider scale, making it available for developers to build applications, making it available for people all over the world to access it and use it and utilize it. And this is why I'm such a huge fan of EOS. Kind of a poster boy a little bit, but the main reason is because because Dan Larimer, and he has a proven track record. He created Steemit, which is a blockchain as well, for writing articles and content, and people get paid for it. And he also created BitShares, which is a decentralized exchange platform. So he basically those two products were a huge success, and you can already tell right now they're booming on the market. They're moving. He went out his way and created EOS IO. And the main purpose for EOS IO was to create an ecosystem where people can come on and develop more apps, more companies, more platforms, so we can create a decentralized world. And speaking about decentralized world, when the internet was first started, it was started off decentralized, peer-to-peer transactions. Over time, Google and Amazon saturated the market and essentially became more of a centralized network. So this is what blockchain's purpose is: to re-decentralize the web, decentralize in a way where it can't be censored by any government, where it can't be taken down, and where everybody can come to an agreement on certain decisions and have the software make the choices and not some people sitting on some chair. This is why I believe blockchain is such a revolutionary technology, because it's something that can bring people together in agreement. It can change the world that way, and this is where I come with EOS. Right now, EOS has the fastest throughput speeds. It's the number one blockchain in the world, and then Steemit and BitShares come second and third. I don't have any slides right now, but I kind of just freestyled this speech. But if you guys look it up online on I think it's on blockspeed.com or blocktivity.com or blocktivity.io. It has reports of all the fastest blockchains and throughput speeds. And EOS just launched in June and July, pending the the delay. but it's a fairly new blockchain. It's clocking out really top speeds. I believe that with this new consensus algorithm, it can take things to the next level. Bring more.
What consensus algorithm are they using?
They're using DPoS, which is delegated proof of stake.
Okay, delegated.
Ethereum, I think they do this random. So
Right.
delegated is certain people, voters vote 21 block producers to validate the transactions.
So
And that
is
would-
this stake like I'm putting up so much, like I buy so many tokens or whatever, then the ethers and then I'm putting those up, or what is a stake?
Staking tokens.
What does EOS do?
Well, EOS does delegated proof of stake. So
Okay.
the people who own the tokens, they vote 21 block producers. So it's a giant pool of.
Who's holding the tokens?
Anybody can hold tokens.
Is it like a masternode?
There's no master node. There's 21 main nodes, like 21. There's 21 core nodes, but then there's consumer nodes, and then there's also what do you call it? It's consumer nodes, and there's access nodes.
Okay.
So how do I become like stakes in this blockchain?
Well, to become a block producer, it's not as easy as you can. You have to build out infrastructure. You gotta have
Right. So
you gotta have servers. You gotta have the infrastructure to support these kinds of speeds. And
right, like
people-
you're gonna talk a little bit more about that.
We'll see, yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
Yes, it needs to have, we have infrastructure.
Right.
So that's the reason why we're voting on these people, because we're relying on these people. Like EOS New York is one of them. I think EOS Brazil is one of them. So these people, they've come together and they've built these communities throughout the world, and we're relying on these people to push these transactions through at fast speeds. Also make sure everything's validated, that there's no bad actors, nothing's going wrong, the system is running perfectly fine. And
How are they validating there's no bad actors? What are they doing? So I'm a security person, right? That I'm obviously interested.
Well, so
So like, what if I'm like China, right? Like I'm just take over, I'm like putting all these stakes up and all these infrastructure up, and I just kind of take over.
Yeah, I mean, to your
Well, you
question, like with Bitcoin, you get the 51%.
Yeah, it's a
problem.
51%
And China's
attack,
producing
right.
like
Yeah.
80% of the Bitcoins right
Yeah.
now, right? So
Which is right.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
but
a
this
good question.
I do understand there are some problems that come with EOS. Like
Right.
there are some RAM issues. There's a couple of issues that we're still trying to solve.
Right.
I mean,
They just wait.
I'm not necessarily on the security side. I'm more on the side of trying to see how this can advance forward.
Everybody
Yeah,
has
because
a
you know,
backup line.
Yeah.
part
But
of
they
the
also take
issue
the
that
infrastructure
happens
from
with
somebody.
other blockchains
Just
is
need
people
to
exploit
move on the network.
security vulnerabilities or coding errors or whatever it is, right? Things always go wrong.
Right.
Like I've never met a programmer that didn't make a mistake, or I've never seen an operating system that doesn't need a patch. It's inevitable, something's gonna go wrong. And, and there are people, things, even whether it's your fault or not, your fault doesn't matter, right? Things go wrong. So with EOS, it's a more, there's actually human intervention involved. So basically, if someone steals your key, someone breaks into your smart contract, someone hacks you, the block producers, the 21 electric block producers can just basically undo it, basically. There's an arbitrage.
What if they collude?
Yes, that's the
That's-
issue,
that's
right?
a problem,
So
right?
see,
Like, what if they
right.
collude?
So
Yeah.
the problem isn't hackers, the
Yeah.
problem is collusion on the actual block
Right.
side. So that is an issue because, it's.
You
it's
can't
a
get away
non-problem.
from that, right? Like if they collude, then that's it.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
a separate issue from security though.
Yeah. But that's like the 51% attack. That's always been known in blockchain. That
Yeah.
if you get enough,
But-
of the mining
but-
and you
but
get
the-
together.
But
Yeah.
that problem has only happened, as far as I know, like, so rarely, maybe one time I can think of. It's obviously it could happen, but,
It happened.
but most of the problems happen when people lose their private keys, right? Or someone's account gets hacked into, or there's a security vulnerability in a smart contract that can't be changed, right? So when you take out the human element, those problems are hard to fix, right?
I mean, look at Ethereum Classic, right? I mean, that whole
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that was the whole deal.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So,
Bitcoin
all
goes-
these things, so basically, normally, in Ethereum, other places, they say code is law. With EOS, they say code intent is law, right?
What is that? What's their?
Code is law.
Right.
We added the intent.
Right, the
aspect.
smart contract. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, so if you as a dApp programmer meant to do something.
Right.
But your code didn't do it that way, and iterating, you're stuck, right? In EOS, you can basically just undo it or freeze your contract, or, you know, all these things are like, there's a human element. So when someone you have basically an arbitration panel to basically.
It's a
undo-
real group
Yeah,
of people?
and there's voting in
Yeah.
that too.
Okay.
But the other thing is, you know, there's an opportunity for us in the mining community to really get in on something ground floor. Like, there's no way we can do much in Ethereum, right? It's been out since 2014, you know, it's always, you know, big whales. But EOS is so new, it only got launched in June. So we're trying to help build the core infrastructure. And part of the EOS mission is the community aspect too. So the community not only votes on things, but we actually help.
So who is the community? Like who gets to do this
It's
well?
us, right? So we built the wall. So basically, there's a 5% inflation rate built into the EOS
Okay.
token system,
Mhm.
and 4% of that inflation rate, which turns out right now current rates is about almost $21 a year, goes into funding meetups, goes into funding open source projects, and they did the largest ICO in history, a $4 billion ICO,
Mhm.
and $1 billion of that is earmarked directly to fund dApps. So through a regular, they don't just give you tokens, they actually write you a check. So basically, you know, last year everyone mined was doing ICO. This year that's not possible. That's why we're interested, because EOS is fast, you know.
So yeah, I wanted to ask how is it fast? What are they doing to perform that much
Yeah.
better? Yeah. We'll get away from security because we could go down into a big hole there.
Well, it's mainly because of the block producers, you know, because like for example, Bitcoin, you have to have everybody in the network validated. You
Right.
know?
Okay.
And then with Ethereum, you have a set amount. I believe it's like it's double before you. I'm not really sure. I don't really keep up too much with Ethereum, but just like it's kind of like a formula, like bringing the block producers down, shrinking it creates higher speeds. You know, it creates. And the core issue is how do we find consensus? You know, agreement within the whole network. This is where I believe that delegated proof of stake may have an opportunity to like really make some traction, because it allows you to move at higher speeds.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only achieving consensus between the 21 block producers, and then like that.
It's
So
like voting.
yeah, what about the governance of EOS in general? Is that between the block producers? Is that delegated, or does everyone get a say? If I own some EOS tokens, do I get to vote, or do I delegate that to one of the block producers?
I believe everybody gets to vote.
Yeah.
There's a constitution.
Yeah,
Oh, there is, okay.
There's a full
In fact, they're
constitution.
redoing the constitution.
But
so
is
if
it
you
like-
like it, we're redoing it now. So-
Is it like a
Yeah.
distributed autonomous organization kind of deal?
Yeah.
it's
It's
that,
actually
right?
written by a guy named Thomas Cox.
Okay,
You can look him up online.
Cool.
He wrote the entire constitution for EOS.
that's awesome.
And yeah, I think they're making a change on it right now as we speak, because there's some ramp issues. There's a couple of little issues. There's also a new blockchain called Telos. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's a fork of EOS. It's trying to fix some of those issues.
Right. Sure.
Is it like ASIC resistant and that kind of stuff? I mean, what are they doing to scale the block producers? It's just like a computing based thing, or is there, you know, that's right, proof of stake, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
proof of stake. Yeah. And it's delegated proof of stake, right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. It'd be interesting to know the constitution and like how the whole, arbitration works and all that would be very interesting to also.
I think the big thing is,
Yeah.
it's stuff that we could actually make a difference in the mining community, right?
Yeah.
Because it's early days,
Mhm.
and we are, getting pretty heavily involved, so you can actually make a big difference in basically one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies out there. Hopefully, it's already on the top dApp blockchain. So,
Are you guys getting together to do a block producer in Miami? I mean, is it somebody doing that, or is it, or you're trying to build a community around it?
Yeah, there's plans. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
We're just trying to keep
Yeah.
it simple right now.
Sure.
Just try to create some open source projects, spread the word.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what are the projects you guys are currently doing?
So we've already created one of the wallets. So basically, the wallet we created through EOS Miami is the only wallet that supports multiple EOS networks, including mainnet and all the side like Telos and stuff. And we're also creating.
Is that like the test network for
Yeah,
like
so
Robston? Okay, got
basically
it.
here
Okay,
down
yeah.
South Florida,
Yeah.
we created one that actually the only one that supports them all. And also, a lot of the main wallets out there, like Scatter, for example, was EOS Miami that got Scatter to support other networks as well.
Mhm.
So we kind of like Miami itself is, it's a great place, because, we have Miami as a city, we have a really large mind share worldwide. But also it's small enough where we all know each other, right? So I can go to Rohini's meetup out of the blue and just do a talk, but this wouldn't be possible in other cities. People aren't as, I don't know, maybe it's like, we all know each other, but we do stuff really quickly.
Right.
So I think Miami's going to be a really big contributor to EOS over the next year.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I actually started building my own dApp. I'm actually building a decentralized exchange platform as well. I started out about early this year. I'm a partner with my friend from the Valley, Silicon Valley out west, and it's been a great journey. And the main reason why I'm part of EOS Miami right now, I believe that this group can help facilitate and even build a community for other developers who are looking to build these dApps and looking to re-decentralize the internet, and just coming together as a collective conscious and trying to advance this technology. If anybody has any questions about the exchange, you can ask me afterwards.
Cool.
It's very cool.
I
Thank
have
you.
a question. So what's the benefit of having apps on the blockchain?
Well, see, it comes down to it comes down to like security and securing your life, liberty, and property by the end of the day. Like when your data is your property, and that's where a lot of conflicts happen nowadays, like Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter, and even all these hacked exchange platforms. The reason why they're hacked is because there was a single point of failure. There was a centralized network. And what this is doing is kind of like distributing that power throughout the world, throughout all of humanity, where we can all share that. Like, hey, we're going to share this blockchain to secure our data, to secure our property, our liberty, for people in an immutable ledger. So we can go back and see if anything went wrong, if somebody changed anything, because it's many reasons. It goes down the list.
Are there fees to retrieve the data from the blockchain?
I'm not sure. I think EOS is free right now.
So how can something store data indefinitely for a fixed cost?
I'm not really sure. I'm not really 100% sure about that question. But there are people doing stuff like Filecoin, and there's IFPS, just internet.
Interplanetary processing.
Yeah, interplanetary file system. I'm not sure about the fees question though.
There's no gas fee per se, like if you're thinking about Ethereum. So you're not paying for transactions, but you are paying for RAM. You're paying for, and there is no there's a lot of things that are still in the works. So it's still early days. So right now, it's not that easy to do certain things that you can do with Ethereum, but things are improving very quickly. But one of the big things was with Ethereum is there can be high gas fees, right? So it makes it's not only, and obviously they need the gas fees because the network is clogged, right? And with EOS, one of the big selling points is there is no gas fees for it. So you can just have an app that keeps running without having to keep paying. So
I mean, I can run code on
there's
the.
a lot, honestly, there's issues right now, but obviously they're
I'm just a novice. I don't know anything.
There's no fee per se.
These are naive questions, but conceptually, if you're talking about putting data on a blockchain, right, for an app,
yeah, you are going to.
that's going to be there forever. It should cost something to retrieve it over time, I would think.
Yeah, the reading is different than writing, right? So even on most blockchains, you can read for free. If you just set up your own node, right? Even locally on your own laptop. So reading is different than writing. So. It depends on how you do it as well, because you're not going to be writing directly to the EOS blockchain per se. The real use case for most people is if you're going to do a dApp, right? If you just want to write something just for a file forever, that'd be an IPFS or something else. But that integration is coming to EOS. It isn't out there yet.
Well, I guess, what do I get by building a dApp rather than just an app?
Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. I'm not sure we have time to go into it, but just a high level is if you actually want to have it secured by the blockchain as opposed to
Like a database or anything,
yeah,
or something. yeah.
it's a little bit of it all depends on what you're doing as well. Like, so for example, like I'm into blockchain gaming. Other people are into blockchain, like SS, into blockchain trading, right? There's different use cases within blockchain. It's a very large term, just like saying database. Right? It's a thing, but database can mean a lot of things, right? So just blockchain gaming, for example, right? Like if I had a game that's just like in the cloud, right? You know, that's one type of game. But if I have a game that's on the blockchain, it's a different type of game. It's a whole new genre.
What's the difference?
So the difference is, you know, it's like the difference between like what's the difference between rap and punk rock, right? You know, it's a culture mindset, the ethos, and even the thing. It's like people say rap was the first new art form for many years, but it took 5 years for people to realize it was a whole new thing, right? So part of it is blockchain game in particular, right? If I'm playing World of Warcraft and I want to buy the Warhammer, that Warhammer I buy in World of Warcraft doesn't belong to me. You know, it still belongs to Blizzard. It's actually like a license, and people have problems where like World of Warcraft Blizzard actually like invalidated certain items. They had their own corporate reasons because they had reasons, but basically everyone that people who spent hundreds of hours trying to do in-game things, they lost all their items, right? And they realized they didn't own it. It was just a license, right? But if you actually have an item in a blockchain game, you own that. It's actually on the blockchain. This doesn't belong to Blizzard. It doesn't belong to me as the app developer. Which means that same Warhammer can be used in your game, right? And so that other people can make games using other people's items, and that's the part of the culture, kind of like open source culture versus closed source. So people are actively encouraged to remix our games, right? So, for example, CryptoKitties, I'm sure you've heard of that. I can make my own CryptoKitty game, right? As long as I don't use the same exact name for it, it's still open source, so I can make build my own game on top of CryptoKitties. Well, Electronic Arts isn't going to let you make your own version of Madden. No way. They'll sue you before you finish that sentence, right? So the ethos is the whole remixing, open source, and the user actually owns the items too. So it's a thing, and there's going to be a lot of emergent behavior. People are already finding that out with crypto art. Like I do Bitcoin poetry actually. That's come to one of my things, and it's a whole new art forms.
What is Bitcoin poetry?
Yeah, so actually I filmed it, right? So it's like, because it's like we actually did performance art pieces in Hollywood. So I made we're mostly performance art pieces. We actually did an airdrop, right, as part 2. I made the first 8 crypto poet billionaires by airdropping them something called the Starving Artist coin, and we did the whole. I don't want to get into it, but there's a 15-minute video. We're going to submit it to the Guinness Book of World Records, and but anyways, but you understand this part, right? So the psychographic, people getting in early days in this type of thing, right? We're a little bit artistic, a little bit, you're just trying to try out these things. So a lot of things that we're trying out might not work out long term, but half of them will, or some of them will, right? And we're just trying to spread the ethos we're trying to do. Blockchain is a tool for that. It's probably not an end in itself, but a lot of things like Dan Lambert, things that his worldview. A lot of people like that. It's only possible now because of these systems. People have been thinking about this probably thousands of years.
So pretty much people are coming to the apps trying to eliminate the problems that we have with regular apps, pretty much. Like they're coming together with a new, they want to eliminate the problems, so is it like community-based type thing?
It's that, but it's also the people, right? So for example, right, we just did this is just a big hackathon in Miami with Pitfall. He did a music blockchain hackathon. So we brought, they're born in startups from all over the world. They flew them in. So the winners were our friends from Singapore, like MIT Singapore, and they came down and they did like a music app. They won, and this book right here, we're going to go over this on Tuesday in our next meetup. Building smart contracts with gaming, and our friend, he wrote this. I was one of the technical reviewers, but basically he's the lead software dev for Everpedia, which is like the Wikipedia for blockchain. So people are just trying stuff, and there's a lot of like convergence, a lot of different things people are doing. So this guy, was writing a Wikipedia type thing, but he's also the gaming, right? And some people are different musicians, and everyone that is a little bit creative, it's the psychographic it's like moths to a flame, right? They find different reasons to be here, but we're all here. Like a lot of these like music moguls in Miami all seem to have their own coin now or something, so a lot of stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter why they're here, right? So we're trying to empower the community.
I know you're like the developers, right? We're like, right?
Yeah.
You're talking to all developers here, and you're like, what's the use case, right?
Right. So we
Well, I mean, I
do a
get
lot
it.
of.
I get it, yeah,
I get
I
a
know.
database on the blockchain,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
just like
It's a distributed
like a marginal
database,
improvement over what we've
yeah,
got
immutable.
now.
Yeah, so the question is,
Yeah,
if
well,
you
why?
could, if you could change, if you could take your dApp and just change the word blockchain to database, then that's not a good use of blockchain, right? It has to be some new type of behavior that a database doesn't allow. That's why you have to.
Well, it's the same as a database, except it's public.
There's a public ledger, but yeah, I think it's a very very large question. But there's actually two more speakers that want to be.
Yeah. Pretty hard question.
Well, take your time, that's,
So the EOS versus Ethereum is purely about performance?
There actually isn't a right answer either as well.
What's the language of the apps on EOS?
C++.
C++.
C++, yes.
Nobody's
No.
perfect.
So, to your question, I think it all falls down to really just solving problems. I think that's the key word. Like, there's problems in the world. We all know there's a lot of problems everywhere. Just, like, how can we fix these certain problems in a better way than it had done before? Like, I have a friend named Dallas Rushing. He's making the Karma app. And basically, the Karma app is just doing things of good nature, goodwill, good karma, and you get paid for it. And he has his own tokenized
It's
system.
not really
How to
karma
do
at
it.
that point, is it?
Well, it's called
It's kind of a
karma.
job, right?
It's like it's incentivizing good behavior, good character,
You're
good
not obligated to
morals.
work either.
It's just fine. Like
Unless
for
you get
example,
money.
I can talk a little bit about my dApp. So the problem that we have is that a lot of exchanges get hacked all the time, and the best way to stop these problems is going the decentralized route by letting the users, the end users, have full control over their private keys, and all their data. And we also have social trading features in it as well, and allowing all of the users to have their own profiles and on their devices, on their cold storage units. So it's like solving that extra step. That's what dApps are here for. It's solving that extra little problem that's out there.
How are you going to comply with financial regulations?
We're still working on our KYC models and MLs, but it's a work in progress. Like, it's just the space is so new. It's hard to get everything right. Right.
I just did a pen test of crypto exchange. Same problems. There's other exchanges, Just FYI, so it's like it's still code, It's people writing code.
I'll just give you like a couple of examples. So basically, some of these publicly traded companies, right? That use blockchain. They're relying on blockchain for provenance. For example, a lot of these art blockchain projects, right? They're relying on the provenance of blockchain to prove that a certain piece of art or a collectible or antique was owned by a celebrity or basically a chain of ownership. So that's a good use of blockchain as well. It's almost like a title, but it's a title of blockchain. The other thing that happens is, with the concept of scarcity, there's a lot of value in money itself in goods is scarcity, right? So if someone sold a virtual rose, a photograph of a virtual rose for $2 million. It's just a photograph, right? It's not even a real rose. Because in the smart contract, it's written that you only ever make one, ever, right? So they paid $2 million for it. And other thing is, we just had GDC, the Game Developer Conference, and one of the things like CryptoKitties do, Benny Jiang, right? He talked to the Magic people here, there, and one of the things that they were talking about is basically putting some of these like Magic holograms onto blockchain, right? Because if you have some sort of hologram or any sort of digital thing, it's still just fake, right? But if you can put that on blockchain, that takes the whole concept of the IoT world, digital twinning, into something that's real, right? So if something's not on the blockchain, it's just a toy, but if it's on the blockchain, that's almost a real item, right? It has value. So that's the whole concept of crypto collectibles as well. It's not just like a virtual good, it's a real good that has some scarcity value as well.
What's the benefit of creating scarcity where there is really none?
Well, that's the economic value, right? So just like the scarcity of, like, for example, right, if you take baseball cards, the baseball card's worth more than the paper it's printed on because of the scarcity value and what's printed on it as well. So there's a company, some of my friends were big VR game developers. They made like the Marvel VR games. They're moving 100% into crypto games now too. And one of their new games is a crypto Major League Baseball. They actually have the direct license from different major league teams. And so they're issuing like collectible, those bobblehead dolls, but digital versions of bobblehead dolls. So almost like a baseball card, but it's a bobblehead. But the interesting thing is they're using AI. So the bobblehead changes based upon the real-time stats of the player that you bought, right? So I don't know exactly how it works, but I assume that maybe the bobblehead will smile if the guy hits a home run, or the stats change, the actual digital transformation of what you bought changes through AI. But there's still a scarcity, right? So they're not issuing, just like a baseball card, right? They're not going to make a million of those baseball cards. The people who buy it are buying it for some investment value on their own as well, or just collectors that like that player.
Just to feed on what you were saying about, for example, title to an asset. My business that I just exited does a lot of work in Africa, and you get people who are underbanked, right? They don't have anything as far as a bank account, but they need to get microfinance, for example, to buy seeds, to grow crops, to sell, and that kind of stuff. So creating a blockchain ID for them that has their biometrics on it that can prove that that's them, and then tying that to land title, because they've had that piece of land in their family for years. It's always been theirs. Everyone in the village knows it's theirs, but the government doesn't necessarily know, right? So you don't want a big company coming along and taking it. And once you have title to the land, now you can go use that as an asset to get microfinance. You can create a community around that for people who want to fund that, and it just becomes a whole thing to change the world. And tracking, that I am who I am and I own this asset immutably is one of the things that goes along with what you were saying.
Yeah, it's a great use case. In fact, there's a startup in Miami is doing something pretty similar, trying to use biometrics so that the refugees get some sort of UN type of housing to their dome. There's a little biometric thing there to get into their little mini house, but people aren't using it because they're afraid of. There's different reasons. So this Miami blockchain company trying to solve that. The other thing is, that's a greenfield opportunity, right?
Right.
Basically. So it's the countries that don't have their infrastructure in place for land titles and stuff. They're really going to get the most benefit out of this and really going full steam into these type of things too. Because they have the most to gain. Just like those countries also, they're the ones who really rely on mobile networks. They're trying to develop landlines.
Exactly.
They're trying to hopscotch over.
I mean, we did some work with, Kenya had their national elections a little while ago, and there was a big thing where you had two guys declaring themselves president and the whole thing. And one of the things that happened during the election was question about voter ID and who was allowed to vote and who couldn't. Some dude walks into the election office, there's a dusty Dell computer in the corner that runs their election systems, sticks a USB key in and just throws their whole election into a nightmare, right? And so trying to get that so it's distributed, immutable, and that the people actually own their data, like you were saying, it's something that became important to them, and they started working like that.
And then just to get to the technical aspect, because since it is C++, right? And unfortunately, C++ isn't really taught in South Florida, and you can't do anything. So we're going to be having a series of C++ workshop with Microsoft. We're going to do C++ bootcamp. So everything that will make a developer successful on EOS blockchain, we're going to be providing free workshops for, and we're bringing speakers from all over the world to come to Miami. Not that they're coming to Miami anyway. So when they're here, they're going to do emails, and if they're coming on the way to Puerto Rico, they're probably going to pop in Miami. So we'll be opportunistic. We're not going to be flying everywhere. They come to Miami anyway.
So the dApps don't run on the network; they run on the client.
No, they run on the network, but you can do a hybrid thing. So EOS just released an official project for MongoDB integration. So you can have like a lot of your data in MongoDB and just have it partially stored in the blockchain or hash the blockchain. So there's different ways to do it.
So you're storing off-chain and you're just storing the database hashes on the chain. Is that?
It's more than that, because people can do that anyway with
Right.
Bitcoin, but it's basically a direct integration with MongoDB, so make it more really secure.
So you're saying that the dApp developers all have to develop in C++?
Yeah, well, just for Ethereum, it's Solidity. For EOS, it's C++.
So
For
how is
performance
it,
probably.
how is a network running C++? I don't get that.
Well, even Ethereum, Solidity, right? I
It's
think
the EVM, they've got the-
even then,
they've
there's
Is
got
it a
the-
subset of C++?
It's not. But they have the Ethereum virtual machine, so it gets, that actually
Yeah.
runs the code. EVM.
Yeah, but it must gotta be a subset though, if it's dereferencing pointers and stuff like that.
No,
Well,
this is full.
Yeah, I don't know how they
Even-
do it.
Even a lot of things that aren't included in C++, like we use the boost libraries, so they don't manually include those too. It's full. It's not. I think it's the C++ 14 that everyone's using. I'm sure it supports other versions as well. But
Just out of interest, how many people in this room have coded in C++? All the older people, right?
Yeah.
We've all coded in C++.
yeah, skill sets are really rare now. I'm surprised how quickly.
So we started in
C++,
C++, right? That's where we
Yeah.
started everything.
I started in C,
Yeah,
before
I
C++
started in
was
C,
out.
right? Yeah.
Well, you can use C as well, actually. Like most of them use C++.
Yeah.
So it's not a protocol, it's actually you load your code?
Yeah, you actually have to use C++.
Yeah,
You're not gonna- You can't just write pseudocode.
Interesting. Yeah.
And, but if you want to create some middleware, that's a project
You're
we
not a
support here in
Yeah.
EOS Miami.
Are you pushing binaries or are you pushing code to the network?
Like, are you like compiling it and then what are you pushing
Yeah,
to
you
the network?
actually have to. It's compiled because the thing is with Solidity
Right.
and stuff, it's runtime.
Yeah.
So the errors aren't caught sometimes until.
Right, it's
Like,
compiled
in this
good.
case,
It's
all your errors are
WebAssembly.
caught by your compiler, so you're not.
What is it?
WebAssembly?
WebAssembly.
Yeah. It's compiled in WebAssembly.
All right.
That's actually important. No, it's
Confusing
important
because
because.
Yeah.
use WebAssembly for front-end development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very.
Okay.
Right, but WebAssembly is really technical. Like Unity 3D just started supporting WebAssembly 2 weeks ago. They're switching over from WebGL to WebAssembly.
Yeah.
So all these things there's a lot of convergence, accidental, but there is convergence.
So you can code it in whatever can compile to WebAssembly then?
Yeah, you could, actually, but people aren't doing that though. No. I mean, that'd be cool, right? Then I could do a direct Unity 3D plugin, but they're not. They're sort of writing C++. You actually have to open up use an IDE.
So VI's out, really? I mean.
No, people are using Vim
What do
actually.
you mean, VI is not 90?
Yeah, right.
But thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Good information on EOS.
That's great, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll definitely take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this. Yeah, so this is our website, if you want, EOS Miami. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Send me all the information. I'll share it.
Yeah, it'd be good to hear about your like meetups and stuff that you guys are doing.
Yeah,
And just
Tuesday
share that with
at
us.
Lab Miami, we're doing a thing with Visa, I'm doing a blockchain gaming panel. So it's like I'm only doing one panel, it's multiple panels, so people are gonna be going for Visa, not for me, I'm sure.
You want to go next?
It's me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You want to go third?
Just as, on the side, for me, dApps mostly connected with the who you trust, and this is the biggest difference. When I create as a developer a game, very simple game, 1 of 100. I don't know, maybe there's an English name. Everyone is giving $1, and then we make a dice, and we make a random number from 1 to 100, and that one who's number 1, he's taking all money to his pocket. Simple game. And when I made it in the normal way, then I create a server, I create some web app, and I will say, okay, trust me, my code is real. I'm really making a random number. It's not that I win every time. You have to trust me. in case you write a dApp, you don't have to trust, because it's done by the, let's say, by the dApp. You can check the code all the time. You can see if the code is is the real a number, random number, and you can check if there is no hidden tricks. And it's not running on some private machines, but it's running on the blockchain. So you don't have to trust anyone. For sure it will be real. And you don't have to trust the house, you don't have to trust a developer, you only have to, if you want, you can check the code and you can be sure that it's running properly. And there's many apps like that on the Ethereum network when you've got this gambling. And then about the jurisdiction, there's a very good question, because when we make a gambling game, then we can ask, okay, which jurisdiction we should take? Which one? A developer jurisdiction? Who is a developer? No one knows. Someone who put the code into the network. No one knows who it is. So maybe the jurisdiction where the server is located. It means whole world, because we have everywhere the code, and everywhere it's running. So the computers from Europe, from China, from Miami, from Venezuela, whatever. So which jurisdiction we should take? There's no jurisdiction. And the lawyers got a big concerns, because they don't know what to do. This is also with the taxation, yeah? Because there are some countries where we've got some taxations for gambling, and then the question is, okay, how we can tax it? How we can check it? How we can prove? The government is losing their power. They cannot trace it, they cannot control it, they cannot put the hands on your money or on your knowledge or whatever you put to the blockchain. Yeah? So dApps, for me, it's a trust. You can create any app which is connected with the trust. The gambling is somehow connected with the trust, or any kind of competitions. Yeah, where even the World of Warcraft or a Clash Royale. Yeah, I'm a Clash Royale gamer, a player, and how I can trust that the guy who is playing against me right now, with whom I'm playing, that he's not cheating. Maybe he is AI. Maybe this is some other guy. I don't know. And when we create a Clash Royale in blockchain, right now it's not possible because we get too many delays. However, we could, and then we can be sure that there is no tricks, no privileged person with some special cheat codes or whatever. Yeah?
How does a dApp prevent AI from playing against you?
You mean, sorry?
How does a dApp prevent a computer from playing against you?
Okay, it's not preventing me, but when the developer is saying you always play against some other human, you can check it in the code.
How
Right
do you know
now,
it's a
I'm
human
not-
on the other end, though? I don't get that.
Identity
So the code
management.
can't be
Because when you've got the dApp, in most, okay, in
No, if I'm a
Ethereum,
human, I could write a program to play for me, right?
yeah, of course, then it is, but it's not like that there is someone who is privileged, that got some...
They're playing by the same rules.
Yeah, the same rules, the same, he has to pay for the cards the same amount of the elixir, yeah, sorry, I'm coming to the details of the Clash Royale, but there is no possibility for cheating, yeah? Or in World of Warcraft, that there is no illegal weapons or anything, but was very important. Yeah?
How are people doing that on World of Warcraft? Are they hacking the servers, or?
How it works in World of Warcraft, I don't know. We have to trust Blizzards that they are fair and that they are not giving, for example, that some developer from Blizzard is not giving some special weapons to his friends.
Right, okay. It's a big company.
Yeah, this is a big company. Probably it happens. Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it's very hard to control.
Right.
The security issues are coming. So really, for me, the dApp or registrations, all the lists, all the things where you have to trust that, for example, that I've got some education. How you can check it? I can show you even my papers, but the papers are easy to create. Yeah, you can go to any black market and a few bucks and you've got whatever you want. Yeah, I can be I don't know, the medicine doctor, whatever, and you cannot check it, or maybe you could, but it requires too much work because you should call the university, check all the details. Who got time for doing this? When there's, for example, indoors project for Ethereum. I think so. It's working on Ethereum, and they are collecting all the things connected with education. So when someone is coming to me and he's saying, "I worked here, there, and there," and I can check it on the blockchain, and I can see that yes, that's true. Half year ago, I see the entry that he started to work for the company, which is also registered on the in this indoors project, and I can trust. I don't have to trust. I know that company is really registered.
How do you correct mistakes?
What kind of mistakes?
Like, say somebody entered like a year wrong. Like, I've always wondered about that. Like, how are they going to do that? It's supposed to be immutable, right? Like the whole. So what if I messed up and your education was like you put the wrong year or something like that?
But
And
I
then
think you could just submit another transaction
Yeah.
that changes that, but you'd be able to see the mistake and the
Yeah.
correction and
But
who
all
did-
of it's
and
there,
who
right?
did the
Yeah.
correction and make
Exactly.
sure it's correct. Yeah.
So you can see a whole history of
but
changes.
that's going to be expensive. Because, well, especially on Ethereum because gas and all of that good stuff. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not so expensive. Reading is not so expensive.
And on Ethereum, right?
On Ethereum, reading is for free. You can create your own node and you can read everything.
No, updating.
Updating, yes, okay.
Right?
Every mistake costs.
Yes.
Yeah, this is okay. When I finished my study, I paid so much for study that this $1 for making an Ethereum transaction is, I think, not much compared to the amount which I
Yeah.
spent. Yes. So there is many places where we can start creating a dApps. This land ownership or any ownership. This is crazy idea when we've got some property. Let's imagine we've got a property on some normal country, Cyprus. Yeah, on Cyprus, and I don't want to use any third word. I just want Cyprus. For me, as a guy from projects which are trying to do this.
If you think about title searches, him wanting to buy it from you, assuming he can do it legally, how does he know you actually own that land, right? And somebody else isn't trying to, like in some countries, every piece of land has this land is not for sale written on it because people try and sell it even though they're not the owner, right? And so from a title search perspective, I think him being, even if he was allowed to buy it from you, knowing that you actually own it in the first place, after you do one or two transactions on that land, then now you kind of.
Well, that's what it's
today you do title searches for that.
Well, that's why it's title insurance, right? The title insurer is convinced that the transaction is legitimate.
Exactly.
And they pull the risk.
Right.
So you're proposing to do it without any title insurance, and I don't think that works at all.
But what I'm saying is that you could get rid of, like you're trying to get rid of the middleman, right? You're trying to disintermediate all these people. And the thing with Ethereum smart contracts is to disintermediate the lawyers and
Well,
the escrow agents. and those
insurer
things.
is not a middleman, though. Insurer pulls risk.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
risk that the transaction's illegitimate regardless of how it's done.
Right, but if he knows you own it and you agree on a value and he transfers that value
I
to
mean, he
you.
doesn't know I own anything because it's in a trust, right?
Right.
Yeah, but okay. Later on, I can explain that idea because it's really very simple. And there are the points of trust, but they are only because the current country, there is no country which holds the ownership on the blockchain. In case we have the registration of ownership of land or houses on the blockchain, what, for example, Estonia is trying to do, then you don't have to trust anyone because the government is saying what's in the blockchain, it's who owns the land, and then you don't.
So if somebody loses their private key, they lose their land.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
No.
Okay, it's
That's a
in former times we've got a cash. When you lose a cash, you lose a cash.
I have a question. So on the blockchain, so you're trading. So on the block, so once you have that key, it's yours. No one can tamper with it.
Okay, this is a technical question, and you can solve it in really many ways. But there is a possibility that we can create a solution that someone who got some special private key or right to some public key, there is a public key, and only the owner can manage this account. And we can send the ownership to some specific account. And if I own this account, I can manage this ownership. For example, I can send it to you, and you can be an owner. Of course, it's very risky. Sure, when you buy a gold, I don't know how it's called, this piece of gold, yeah. Then if you give it to someone, he can run away. Of course.
What they did in Kenya for the land titles, that the project I was working on, was they actually have the government is the repository of the private keys. There's a department that stores everyone's private key, but you put store your biometrics on it, and that blockchain ID is yours.
No,
So if
it's
you
not
ever
a good
lose your
idea.
keys, well, no, but this is what they're doing. Right? So if you ever lose your key, you walk in and you prove it's you using your biometrics, and then they give you your key back, like if your phone crashes or whatever. However, because these are farmers and stuff, they're not, you know. So I don't think the expectation is that everybody's grandmother is going to have to know that they have to keep this private key, or else they lose their land. I think that's unrealistic. But there are ways of managing that in an escrow, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a practical sense, though, it's like the intent of the contract versus the contract itself, right? So the intent is to transfer the land. Well, I mean, there's extortion, there's theft, there's loss, right? And all those things need to be dealt with by human beings, right? And then at that point, there's risk. So title insurance pools the risk across lots of people. So I think it's an integral part of the process, though. Maybe not in Kenya.
You know, I'm saying that was my experience, right?
Yeah.
But making insurances in between makes the transaction very expensive. And in true, why I'm not right now, it's very hard for me to, for example, I want to sell you my house. There's no way for doing this so simple. We have to go somewhere. Someone has to agree for it. It's really
Well, you
hard.
transfer the trust, though, like you were saying.
Yeah, for example, but then I have to sell my house to some trust, and I got from the trust some, I don't know, the paper which says who shows the paper owns the house. Yeah? And then I can give you the paper, but then you have to trust this paper, that I'm not cheating you. You can call the trust, ask all the things. But when we make it on the blockchain, we even don't have to be face to face. Yeah? Buying the house will be very simple. But okay, let's change the subject.
That's not even your talk, right?
Okay,
Wasn't your talk?
I really like idea of dApps. It's really something amazing, but I don't believe that dApps is meaning that every app can be moved to the blockchain. It's not true.
Or even should be.
No,
Right,
even no. No, it shouldn't be, because there are the things which are maybe not so important, or maybe even the games shouldn't be moved. Because why?
The gaming is the one that's right, you know.
Some particular games, maybe.
Guys want to take a
5 minutes
minute
break,
break?
yeah.
Then let's do that.